Did you know there's a giant dinosaur skeleton looming on Laythe? And do you want to know where it is? Well, you're goddamn right on this video, because today we will send a submarine and a boat to Laythe to uncover Laythe's secrets. But first, let's get to the build. So here we are building the submarine. Well, I've already built a submarine once that didn't work out. I was building the Beetle submarine, you know, the yellow submarine. But this time I thought I might alter the design a bit. And since the new update, submarines actually work. You know, previously they didn't work, because previously it would just sink to the floor and, you know, you had zero control. The water was buggy as fuck. But now it finally works and I had to use that. But how does this thing even work? How do you build a submarine? Well, you basically just need fuel and engines and that's it, you know. Easy as hell. So what you do is you build a fuel tank and you put engines on top and bottom of it, and then you put action groups in place, and if you press the action group, bottom or top engines will activate and you can sink and elevate the whole thing underwater. Pretty easy. So my main focus with this one was, because the concept is pretty easy, on the design, and I think the design turned out really well, you know. But how boring would it be just having a video with a submarine, right? So we're also building a boat, because there's a dinosaur skeleton on Laythe, and I thought, you know, if I mess up the landing somehow and end up 30 billion kilometers, you know, somewhere else, I could just take the boat and drive to the skeleton, and that's exactly what we'll be doing today. And here you can see the boat being built. Now, the boat is also just fuel tanks and engines, because, well, fuel tanks float apparently. And for that I used jet engines, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's underwater, but still it works, you know, so I'm happy, you know, it works somehow. Now I figured around a bit with the design, you know, I changed it sometimes. So in the final version of the build, you know, that we fly to Laythe, you might see variations of the design, but in principle it's exactly the same, because I made a test flight and found out I had to shift the tanks a little bit. But the submarine is nearing its completion, but in this mission, because there was an update in between, there is a new challenge involved with sending something to basically anywhere that has an atmosphere, because there's entry heating now, which is super cool. I love it when there's plasma on a spaceship, you know, I dig it. Especially for making videos, it makes everything look a lot cooler, but it also means it gets a bit tasty, and you know, we gotta cool the thing down a little bit. So I added a heat shield, and because I was afraid it would tip over, I added fins on the top to stabilize the whole thing. And you might think like that will never work, but it did. So basically, you know, those Nerf darts, you know, that you can throw, you know, that was the inspiration for this thing, and it seems to work really well, so credit to Nerf. Fun fact by the side, I think the guy who came up with the first Nerf gun was a NASA employee, so, you know, funny little fun fact here. But as you can see, attaching the heat shield wasn't quite easy, and jettisoning it was also not quite easy. But there you can see the fins on the top, so they're just control surfaces basically, correcting the whole thing and shifting the resistance, you know, the air resistance backwards. So, you know, if the air resistance is in front of the center of mass, it's bad. So now it's behind it, so it's stable. Yeah, you know, smart as I am, I thought of that. And then I also incorporated this thing that's in the game now. I don't know, it's some kind of science part, I don't care about them. Honestly, the science part disappointed me. They don't look as cool as in KSP1. But yeah, you know, we got this thing now, which looks cool. You know, it looks a bit like a Soyuz. So we can build Soyuz recreations with that. But now the design of the submarine is complete. I won't show the rockets because you will see them in a second. So let's launch this whole thing, should we?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And here goes the first rocket soaring into space to deliver the submarine into space. But first of all, we need to stage away those boosters. And here they go, with a beautiful, beautiful stage separation. You know, I'm quite fond of this. And then we can stage away the lower stage and get into a stable orbit before jettisoning the fairing and then doing our orbit burn before arriving in orbit and launching the next stage in a while, because we needed a separate transfer stage, which you can see coming up now. And here goes the transfer stage, the last remaining piece to assemble the whole spaceship and bring our little submarine to Laythe. Stage separation here also successful, quite nice in those first try, by the way. I know, crazy in this game. It's less buggy now, so it's, you know, a bit better. And then we can stage away the top stage and jettison the fairing, and with that we're on the best way to get into our orbit, and here we are. So, with 2 successful launches on our back, there's only one thing left to do, which is docking, before we can embark on our journey. Well, this docking took quite a while and I cut out 90% of the footage because it was plain boring. But as you can see, at some point I managed to get it. You know, 2 large crafts, not a lot of force, yes, difficult, I know. But after that is done, after we docked, we can extend the solar panels and embark on our journey. Here we go. Now this burn is 2 parts. Well, one part is just to raise the apoapsis above Kerbin, circle around, and then a second burn to get us to Joule. We do that because it's more efficient that way, and the other way around, the burn wouldn't really be possible because we would collide with Kerbin's atmosphere, which wouldn't be that great. So as you can see, we circled around Kerbin once, and now there's the second burn, and we're off to Joule. Bye bye Kerbin, we'll miss you and all your beautiful green fields, but we'll get to a completely different world, and here is Joule, looming in the background, the most beautiful planet of all, if you like gas planets at least. And what we will do is a Tylo gravity assist. Speaking of Tylo, here he is. Wasn't that beautiful? Well then, all that's left to do is get on an intersection course with Laythe, which we will do here, and the burn is done, and then we can see Laythe. First of all, here's Joule again, but here is Laythe. Now this burn was a bit of a weird one, as you can see. Yeah, in KSP1 that wouldn't have been possible. Gladly it is possible here. And also gladly we had a lot of fuel left, about 2000 meters a second, so I modified the orbit a little bit after we had it, so don't wonder if the orbit in the next shot will look a bit different than this here. Speaking of the next shot, here we are circling around in the old orbit, and after that it's time to search out our island to land on and to get our landing. Here we are. You can see the island, you have to land there. You will see later where exactly the skeleton is. But yeah, we're doing something very dangerous. We're just decelerating in the atmosphere, but then we can separate the craft. And after a while we can extend the heat shield. But if you know something about entry, you will know that in Plasma there just is no communications. So I can't speak now. Well, I will see you on the other side when we landed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully landed the submarine on Laythe. Here it is, take a look at it. It survived the harsh re-entry. But now, let's go diving, let's explore what's on the seafloor of Laythe. Let's go! So, deeper and deeper we go. And I have to clarify something here. I didn't quite have enough fuel to get those 1241 meters down, so I had to activate unlimited fuel. Next time I can optimize the design to have more fuel, but this time we have to get along with this. But you can see the sonar being sent out. I brightened up the image a little bit, it got really dark. Light doesn't seem to work on Laythe in the dark. But we're still going down and down and down. We're already 700 meters below water. Now 900 meters, almost a kilometer. And we are slowly approaching the sea floor. You can see there's the sea floor. I hope you can see it. I brightened up the image as much as I could. But we're almost touching the sea floor, and you know, you are wondering the same as I was. What would happen if I just opened the hatch, get a Kerbal out? Well, that's what we will try out in a second. So here we have touched down on the sea floor of Laythe. That's over a kilometer down from sea level, so we're really far down. Wonder if the gravitation would be higher here, who knows. So here's the Kerbal getting out. I selected a random Kerbal, just the poor guy that was sitting at the hatch. Here he goes. And he doesn't seem to implode or anything. What happens is that he just very slowly wants to get back to the surface. But the slow was a bit too slow, so I embarked the submarine again and just let him there. And so let's hope he doesn't get eaten by a whale or a dinosaur or anything. I heard there are dinosaurs here, and you might hurt something in the water. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? We will see in a second. But first of all, we didn't see a lot on the sea floor. But now we will get up again where we can see something. And there's the second part waiting for us for this surface exploration mission, the boat. We haven't used the boat yet, can you imagine? But it's there. So here we can see diving up. The color is getting back to the image. And we have splash up, or however that's called. So let's man the boat. Let's get the boat out. Let's start the engines up. And let's travel a ton of distance. You will see we traveled a lot. But for you it's great because I just cut it together in a 20-second montage. And you can see where we all went through with the dotted line. It was quite a distance. Also here I had to activate unlimited fuel, sadly. But we're getting closer to the dinosaur skeleton. Tension is rising and you can see the dotted line is getting closer to the shore, and that's exactly where you need to go. So take a look at the dinosaur skeleton. You can see it in the background, it is ginormous. Who knows what this creature all swallowed in its life. Maybe, I hope it doesn't eat Kerbals. Here you can see it again. So, you know, if you know dinosaurs, write me in the comments which dinosaur that would be. But with that, the video is over, I hope you like it. And if you can't get enough of the Julian system, you might be interested how I put a rover on Val using a sky crane and discovered weird crystals on the surface. Well, check it out there. I will say nice evening, morning or afternoon to you. Goodbye.